This is my TPOT animator audition that I showed you guys a while ago. In the comment sections of both the animation and the process, there's been a mix of supportive comments, constructive criticism, and this
shape world.
Now I'm not gonna lie, I was caught a little off guard at first, but honestly, it's feedback like this that's the most valuable when it comes to developing your skills, and if I want to be a better animator, using this advice will help me do so let's do just that. The thing that I've probably gotten the most comments about is the mouths I use for lip sync, so I'll start with that. Up until now I've only had 2 sets of mouths, a smile and a frown, but only having 2 variations can get repetitive, so I gotta make more than just these. To know what kinds I should start with, I looked at the different mouth variations Satomi made when she animated for BFDI and organized them into different emotions. Some stuff that stood out to me here is how there were mouths for different directions and sizes too, so I decided to go with that first.
Easy chow. Who are you? I am Godai.
This time around, I thought cleaning the teeth inside would be a nice little detail to add, but my computer clearly had other plans. Anyways, I just tried again without all the extra cleaning. It probably would have been a bit too much, both for my computer and for the viewer, since the way I tween was also point of contingence for some of you guys. That'll probably be the next thing I work on in a different video, though. I know that for the poll I made a few weeks ago, you guys voted for me to do it all in one video, but between life and procrastination, I haven't gotten around to doing it, so I thought it would have been easier and quicker to focus on one topic for now. More on topic, I also made a sort of small frown/neutral kind of variation too, as you can see here. I'm honestly a little unsure about how I'll make the other neutral mouths differ from the frown mouths I have now, since they look very similar. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, though. For now, I'll just have to stick with the 2-in-1 thing. What matters most is that it looks different enough from the base model and fits onto the slimmer bodies better. Here's a before and after.
This is quite fun. Bounce, bounce!
Next, I made some side mouths. There normally isn't much of a noticeable difference between sides and fronts minus their shapes, so to set them apart I drew the teeth a little differently to emphasize the angle they're facing and only kept 1 row of them. If you couldn't tell by me redrawing the same mouth over and over again, it was a little tough to get the shape I was going for. Since I made some of the mouths symbols using symbols, I could just go back and edit them later if I wanted without having to redo the tween two. I kinda wish I did the same thing for the small mouths, but I'll probably just do it the long way if I really have to. After I made all the mouth symbols, I had to do quite a bit of tweaking to keep the sizes and positions more consistent. I feel like the asset I used as a sort of base for the mouths affected the way I drew them. For example, using Snowball as a base made the side mouth assets slant inwards more, which would be better for round characters like him, but not as much for more angular characters like Blocky. I make these weeks later on in the video, but for now here's the before and after. Now for the big mouths. I drew these mouths from a front angle since the original one Satomi made was also from that perspective. I also added the tongue since the mouth is wide open. The overall process for this set of mouths was the same as the others, but to be honest, I forgot to make the mouths for different emotions, but the different directions should be good enough for now, and if anything, I can always make more. If you haven't noticed, I also struggled quite a bit with the open mouths for both. I think they both took almost 10 minutes each, the same amount of time to make the rest of the mouths for each set. I swear, making the open mouths is the hardest part cause they're basically the base of the entire set, so they have to be absolutely perfect. By the way, if you're wondering how I made these mouths, I have a short going over that I'll link in the top right corner here. I broke up with tutorials a long time ago, but I know there'll be at least one person asking for one, so here you go. Also, since I've gotten a lot of comments asking me to try Toon Squid, I've said it in the pinned comment of the Flip a Clip video, and I'll say it again. I don't have an iPad, so I can't use Toon Squid. Anyways, enough FAQs, here's the before and after. To see how these new mouths look in an animation, I went back to one I made a while ago and redid the lip sync using them. I didn't use the TPOT audition because I wanted to do a scene that could use all three new mouth directions. I tried to line up the mouths as best I could to keep it consistent, but because of the way I made the assets, here is where you see me tweaking the position of them here and there. I'm not really that sure about the mouths I made honestly. Like I can have more variety in my lip sync now, but the new mouths don't really match the quality of the originals. Considering I have been using the same two mouths for a very long time, I'm probably just not used to the new ones, and it'll take some time for them to grow on me. Think of it as me testing the waters or something. Take a look for yourself.
Whee! Oh, you didn't mean it literally?
No.
So we're not cliff jumping?
No.
Let's watch clouds with pen. Yeah!
What do you think of the new mouth assets? Do you think they helped my animation, or do they need a little more work? What other kinds of animation videos would you like to see next? Do you think I suck at animation and I should quit forever? Let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. That's it for now. Bye.
We're